Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to yet another week and yet another episode of the Daily Wraps here at Bray Park. I'm Barry Fair. Thanks for joining me here today on Grayish Monday. Unfortunately, my offside is not feeling the best today. Equivalent to what I was feeling on episode 21 when I did the show. Well, some positive news from Sydney first, and I will get to that in a minute. I'm putting together a package of videos that Mark and I have done over the months, and here he is to tell you about them. Good morning.
Good morning, Barry. And you're right, not 100% today. So, lots of hand sanitising, blowing my nose, and wearing of the mask.
And equivalent of what I was feeling at the start of this. So, hand sanitizing, guys. And like I've said on every episode that I'm brought to you, okay, if you've got COVID symptoms, stay home, guys, and get tested. Here's Mark now for his opening sequence on this.
Yeah, so tested this morning, negative, and I tested over the weekend and I was negative. So, I'm hopeful that it's just some other kind of virus floating around that's making me produce way too much snot.
And Yaka.
Yes.
So I'm born. So now that I'd like to tell you about Sydney, well, I had an email from CPA this morning, and it's all positive news. Here's Mark now.
Yeah, so Barry had a number of questions regarding the move and, just to get a bit more detail around what's going to happen at the other end. And whilst there wasn't a lot of detail in return, it was certainly all positive response, and things just need to be finalised before any particular things such as dates, times, people are going to be named. So a bit more organisation to go, but absolutely a good positive response, and putting a line in the sand for December.
So 4 months of fantastic episodes to go. This is the first of them. Okay, so I will let you know when the final video will be once I get the date. So it's not like where NDIS were mucking me around saying that it was being approved when it wasn't approved. Here's Mark now.
Yeah, so, well, all along you've been a bit worried that they're going to knock you back on some funding to help you move. And of course, you couldn't move until they'd organised accommodation at the other end. So they seem to have sorted that, got some time frames, and it's now just a matter of all the planning and the process that has to be put into place for the move to actually happen come December.
Come December, so watch out for this space. So, like I said, today my upside is not feeling very well, and equivalent to me when I started to get sick on episode 21. Here's Mark now.
Yes, hopefully it doesn't head down the same path. And, you know, I definitely don't want to get another dose of COVID now. As you know, Barry, I'm meant to be travelling on Friday. So that would throw a terrible spanner in the works. And, you know, I'm hoping that it's just a head cold and it'll clear between now and then.
And the weather will be warmer for you too.
Well, I know it's going to get to 32 in Darwin today, so I can't wait for a bit of warm.
Yeah, so this is episode 33 now, because I've already done episode 32, and that's now up on your screen. And Strapline is also there too. And in the mix, we've got the story bridge added to the package. Here's Mark to tell you about the history package.
Yeah, so the history package of all the places that you've been out and about at in Brisbane. And so I'm assuming that's going to include trips to Redcliffe and Shorncliffe and
I didn't do
Deception Bay.
I didn't do the Shorncliffe one,
Well, there you go.
so that's not in there.
Yep.
So really, guys, I have enjoyed the experience here. So December will be my final, well, November to be exact, will be the final production here, but I'm just waiting on a few more details to emerge of the date. I know there was a house vacant, well, a house where I'm going, but but it won't be ready until December, so a fair bit of time to go on this, but one important thing, guys, you've got to remember that people must do their job. Here's Mark now.
Yeah, so, well, you know better than me, Barry. You've been dealing with them for a lot longer. But you know, all of the processes that are put in place by bureaucracies create work, and on the face of it, nothing is ever straightforward and easy. But in this particular case, as long as you've got assurances that what they say is going to happen is going to happen, the time frame becomes less important as long as you know there's an end goal in sight.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak.
Yes.
Here's Mark.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant when I said that at least you'll have a time frame to aim at, and that gives you some certainty, and it gives the organisations that need to be involved in getting things done to get them done and make sure that everything is actually locked away before you make the move.
And as frustrating as it is, you cannot hassle people on the phone or be rude to them. Here's Mark now.
Yep, absolutely. It doesn't serve a purpose. They're just trying to do their job, and there is a lot of cross-organising in something as big as moving interstate to live. So lots of people need to be involved and be organised to the point of all being on the same page so that your move is smooth.
So I will pause that. So unfortunately, as you just heard, my offside cough are not very good. Is my offside?
Yes. Unfortunately, talking leads to tickling in my throat, which leads to coughing. So the more I do it, the worse it gets. Pardon me.
So I think I may have to do most of the talking and let Mark speak in little bits. The important thing, don't have some people on the phone. They will not like that. Here's Mark now.
Much more productive to have people wanting to work for you than not caring. And a good way to manage that is always be polite and respectful when you're dealing with them on the phone. They've got a job to do. There's not much they can do to alter the mandates of their job and the forms and processes that must be adhered to. So absolutely better to work with people and try and make it as pleasant as possible for everyone. I'm sure that getting upset at them doesn't help you as an individual either.
Because if you get upset, guys, at people when things don't go according to plan, okay, and if you're abusive and abrupt on the phone, it will lead to termination of the phone call. Here's Mark.
Yes, I've never actually seen a phone call pulled to a halt before, but they certainly reserve the right to call a halt to a phone call if people are being abusive or rude, and nobody wants that in their workplace ever. So it's best for all concerned to just, if you know that it's going to be a stressful call, just plan so that you can go in with the right frame of mind and, not actually make things take longer and be worse than they already potentially are.
So we're going to take a break on the show now and come back. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Well, welcome to Sharp Point again today, and we're here to present another video for you, and welcome along to episode 33. Joining me now is Mark English, the master, Mark English.
Hello all. Welcome to episode 33 yet again.
And this is part 2 now. So, I've spoken to Derek twice today in the NDIA, and clarified a few things, and they're going to resend the letter. Here's Mark now.
Yes, I suppose everyone that works within government departments understands the bureaucracy and the complex and convoluted nature of the way things are done. So, you know, it often needs a lot of clarification to understand exactly what's going on.
So, this is episode 33, and
NJ! Wait.
a kid is just trying to run across the road there, very dangerous indeed. So we might talk about road safety now, moving off NDIS. Well, road safety around shopping centres, guys, is very important. Here's Mark now.
Yes, there's a lot of uncontrolled vehicles wandering around, concentrating more on where they're going to park and how to get out than what's immediately around them. So, for your own safety, you need to be extremely aware of what the traffic's doing.
So never just walk out in front of a car, a bus, or taxi or anything. That is very dangerous, because if you can't see the taxis, well, they can't see you. Here's Mark.
Well, there's an element of truth to that, but generally speaking, I think most drivers tend to be looking at where they're going, and a lot of pedestrians don't. So it actually requires both parties to be equally mindful of what's going on around them.
So it is very important, guys, to look where you are going, look before you cross, that sort of thing. Here's Mark now.
Yeah, all the old safety rules still hold true. You know, look to the left, look to the right, look to the left again, and you know, before you cross. And it's just common sense, because in any battle between car, truck, whatever, and human will always lose.
And even with that cab, if you step out in front of the cab and it's coming, it can correct you and you will go bang. Here's Mark.
Hopefully you don't, and you avoid it by the skin of your teeth. But absolutely, anywhere, anytime, never step off the curb without looking, and just be mindful of what's around you in general.
And like at the start of the program today, Mark was very cocky. Here he is.
Well, I think I'm improving rather than getting worse, which is good. So only time will tell, really.
And so just getting back to what happened before we brought the second part of the show to you, I had to clarify some things with NDIA, and here's Mark.
Yes, there's been a few conversations, and one conversation, you know, followed by another, all using the same terminology for slightly different things, leads to confusion. I think the word funding gets used in every other sentence, but has many and multiple meanings. So that's where all of the confusions come from so far. What does the approved funding refer to, and is that, or does that have anything to do with the move? Because that's the question on your mind, Barry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does it have anything to do with the move? So, from what we've learned so far, all the conversations, no. It doesn't have anything to do with the move at this point in time.
Well, it says that I'm being improved for our house in Sydney,
Yes.
and all of that. So that is why it is always very important, guys, to clarify before you count your chickens. Yes, Mark.
Yes. It's difficult sometimes to get the answers to the questions that you have, simply because the real answer is we don't know yet. We haven't had any meetings to determine whether that will or will not be covered. So in Barry's case, the actual cost of the move as opposed to his day-to-day cost of living. So at the moment, only his day-to-day cost of living has been approved.
Both here and in Sydney.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, and it is also very important, guys, to speak politely on the phone. Don't be rude. Give Martin.
It's an area of expertise of Barry's, where he's regularly having to be in touch with people who are trying to organise things for him, and it requires a lot of communication to keep up. He's always extremely polite on the phone, no matter how many times it might have been to get the same non-answer, but just lines up and has another crack.
So the important thing about being polite on the phone, guys, is really important, and give your name and contact number in case the person you wish to speak to is not there. Here's Martin.
Yeah, best to, for all conversations where you're looking for an outcome, have everything that you need prepared. So if you want to talk about a letter, make sure you've got the letter in front of you. It makes life so much easier, and you know, the assumption that we all make that everyone can see everything isn't necessarily true, and unfortunately the way systems bounce in and out of functionality these days, there's absolutely zero guarantees of ringing up and people being able to look up a file to refer to while they're talking to you.
So that is why I rang them to check the file. Here's Mark.
Yep, so Barry has, and well, really still has questions, but you know, he's rung a number of people today to clarify, and we've reached a point of understanding that we still have no knowledge.
So, don't count your chickens in case something hasn't been approved. Here's Mark.
And especially don't assume that your understanding of what you've read is going to be accurate, and you know, absolutely you probably need to run it past half a dozen people and get half a dozen opinions of what it all means before you can decipher it. I know for one, I have not ever had to deal with this type of bureaucratic letters, and I'm left confused on a routine basis. Maybe because I don't know the system, but I just suspect I don't know how they communicate.
So as before we do go today and continue our show back home, always be polite and friendly to people on the phone. Don't ever abuse them. Here's Mark.
Yeah, it just follows the same theme of being polite and maintaining decorum so that you're not offending anyone and that they actually want to help you achieve an outcome rather than absolutely do not want to help you at all.
So remember, politeness is the way to go, guys, because at the end of the day, if you're polite to someone on the phone, then they will be polite to you back. Here's Mark.
It's a continuing theme, so it comes down to just treating people with respect.
And in 2 weeks, when we come back to you, we'll come back to you again over this. So Mark will not be with me next Monday, so I don't know who I will have with me to come do the show, but I can tell you I have enjoyed the time here in Queensland. It will soon be coming to an end. Here's Mark.
Well, got a few months to go, so it's not next week, but hopefully before Christmas is the ultimate time frame, and I do say hopefully.
So hopefully within 3 to 4 months, that is when I will get the date. So when I do get that date, guys, I will let you viewers know, and perhaps organize a farewell. And for our last show, we might even go to Scarborough again when it's warmer.
Yes.
Okay, and check out Morgan's again. Okay, so we will continue the show back at the studio, and we'll see you there.
Look forward to it.
And we look forward to you coming. So stay with us.
Well, we just returned from Strat Point, and with the day drawing to a close, just going over some news which I had from Sydney. It is happening, and here's Mark to tell you about it. Good afternoon, welcome back to the last part of our show.
Thanks, Barry. Yes, it's all good news so far. Obviously, there's still lots to organise and clarify, but the long and short of it is that your funding has been approved, and you'll be able to move back to Sydney, and now just squabbling about how, really. So, I imagine that's going to be the hardest part of the whole thing, is the actual move itself. So I expect that there's going to be quite a few more meetings to talk about how it's going to work.
And like we said at Strap Point, guys, don't keep hassling people on the phone because it makes it harder for them to do the job. Here's Mark now.
Yeah, and the truth is that a lot of times you ask them a question, they can't answer it directly. They have to rely on somebody else to get back to them. And you end up in this vicious cycle of expecting one person to be able to answer all your questions when they can't. And they're reliant on numerous other people to get back to them to be able to give you an answer. So quite often things don't happen as smoothly as we would like.
So the important thing, guys, is really be patient. Okay, don't be rude because it is not the way to handle a situation. Okay, let people do their job. Be patient. Here's Mark.
Doesn't hurt to jog their memory every now and then.
And Paul. So, like we've said, guys, please be patient when things are being organised and in the process. Here's Mark now.
Yeah, it's obviously these things become frustrating for everyone because people that you're dealing with are aware that they need to be able to give you a response, and they're waiting on news themselves, and it becomes convoluted. So it'd be the ideal situation would be that everything happened on our own time frames, but failing that, it's handy to be respectful of other people's work conditions and issues, and the fact that they might be waiting on 4 or 5 other people to get back to them to be able to answer your one question. So bear it in mind that people need to have the space to be able to get on with doing your work, and you arguing with them on the phone doesn't help them either get your results achieved or make them want to deal with you.
Because they will turn around to you and say no if you keep hassling them. Here's Mark now.
Well, hopefully they don't do that out of spite, but
that's just an example.
Absolutely, and it's a real world example. So I'm sure we've all been in a place where, for the sake of arguing, we haven't achieved our goals at all.
Because if you argue on the phone, guys, it's not going to do us any good. Like for example, like you want to get back to Sydney now, but no, it won't happen that way because, like in an email which I received this morning, there are lots of questions unanswered and things still to be clarified. So,
yeah, it was actually a good lesson in that I think of the 11 questions you asked, 8 of them are works in progress and quite simply can't be answered at this point in time until more organisations been completed.
So in ending our show today, please, guys, let people do their job and be mindful because they will turn around to you and say, well, you keep bringing us and emailing us and hassling us. So please, as we leave you today, please be mindful of those people that are trying to organise things for you. And here's Mark now.
Yes, and as we've said, it can be a stressful time for everyone, and just being reliant on so many other people to be able to achieve an outcome is frustrating in its own right. But of course, it rarely goes completely smoothly. So you just have to keep yourself in check and not get obviously upset and take it out on the person on the other end of the line. They're just trying to do their job. So take it easy.
So please don't be rude, guys, on the phone. Okay, we know it's frustrating and you want things to happen smoothly, but like I've said, don't hassle people. They're doing the best that they can for you, and they're doing their end for me too. So we'd like to leave you today with this important quote. Please be patient. Don't be rude. It doesn't get you anywhere. Here's Mark now for his closing message on this.
Yeah, Barry's absolutely right. Any time that we treat others poorly, regardless of the reason, they won't receive it well, and it's essentially unnecessary. So please try and just show some restraint, and just know that some things are going to take a long time and be a difficult process.
So that's just about all we've got time for this episode 33. Mark won't be here next Monday or the Monday after that, so we'll see you in 2 weeks for another edition. But before I do go, the number that we rely on 24 hours a day, and you know what it is, 000. Please do not ring that number for stupid, trivial issues. Here's Mark now with his closing message on this important thing.
Yes, it is very important, and unfortunately, when the line is abused, it just creates more work, more tension and stress for the people that work there trying to deliver a very important service, and playing with it, quite honestly, nobody thinks it's funny. So there's really no reason to ever use 000.
So, until we see you, well, I'll be here, but Mark won't be. When will you be back, Mark?
So 3 weeks today, Barry. So I'll miss the next 2 Mondays, but the one after that I'll be back.
So
Must be the 8th, followed by the 15th. So what's that? The 22nd.
the 22nd of August will be Mark's first show back, and we've got plenty more Mondays to bring you guys until December rolls around.
Exactly right.
17 weeks. 17 weeks. Okay, so the show is coming to an end very, very slowly. So on that note, time for Mark and I to go, and we'll see you next time round on the Daily Wraps.
I look forward to it.
And I will look forward your company then.
Thanks, Barry.
Until then, here's Mark with his farewell now.
Take care, everyone. I'll miss you while I'm on holidays, but I'll be excited to come back and tell you all about it. See you in 3 weeks.
And I will see you tomorrow for another episode. Until then, good afternoon, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.